Hey you guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome to another episode of this Piscean Reports. How's everybody doing? Hopefully you guys are having a lovely day. For those of you new to my channel, welcome aboard. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. So today, I just thought I had a little time on my hands and I wanted to share just some concepts that I had been thinking about with you guys. These are the concepts, these are the things that I think about, which is why I probably don't have much conversation. It's not that I don't want to, it's just that I don't know anyone who I can share these concepts with, my thoughts, my opinions with. So I thought, since there's no one in my vicinity that I can share this with, I'll share it with you guys, And if you want to let me know what you think, great. If not, whatever. It's just some things that I just wanted to put out into the universe, okay? You can listen to it, you don't have to. You can take the advice, you don't, whatever. You can just kind of entertain it or you can't, whatever. It's totally up to you. So I was thinking about spirituality. I had been thinking about it the last few days, and I didn't really know if I should even discuss it because I have learned, and through reading the book by Mr. Summers on the greater community spirituality, and one of the reasons I literally stopped talking about my spiritual experiences and things like that, because they go into it and they say you just shouldn't, and I'll share that with you too later on. And then there's another thing that I had been really thinking about, and I don't know what the powers that be are thinking, but whatever. But let me go ahead and start with the initial thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about. I just wanted to, how do I start it? Wow, I never know how to start these conversations. This is my thought, and then I jot it down to kind of get it out of my head, and then I move on. But I guess it's not really, do I want to say the difference between religion versus spirituality, and why I don't, not sure how to say it. I'm not sure how to say it. I jotted down like the meat of what I did not want to forget. So I'll just say this. The difference, more or less, between religion and spirituality, or should I say why I like to talk about spirituality, why I am so in love with spirituality, or at least the concept of it, and certainly Mr. Summers' concept of spirituality, because I have experienced these things myself, and therefore I know it's like, yep, that's it all day, But now he talks about the introduction to you guys, introducing you guys to that concept of spirituality. That's what I want to say. And he explains it, he kind of explains it like this. A lot of you guys, those who believe in religion, not those of us who are spiritual, but for those who believe in religion, religion is something you can define. Religion has definitions. Religion has rules. There's structure to it. And the beautiful thing, and that's fine. And matter of fact, there's this point in the book where he talks about how those of you who may have had an awakening, anyone who's had an awakening, and you're trying to figure and get your spiritual footing on how to address with your feeling and then going forward. So for those of you who may have grown up in a religious background, we'll say that, those who have grown up in a religious background, understand that with religion there's rules, there's definitions, there's all this thing, and those things are. Do I want to say? Well, what do I tell you first? What do I tell you first? What do I tell you first? So I guess what I'm basically trying to essentially tell you is you have grown up in that, and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? As a matter of fact, those of you who are coming out of a religious background and who are going into spirituality, I want to say this. Spirituality, okay, religion teaches you faith. We'll say that, yes. Religion teaches you how to have faith, okay? But spirituality, faith takes you to, how did he say that? It takes you to the gate of spirituality. Spirituality is that point going forward. It is because from that point forward, you have been taught through religion how to have faith. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know. But spirituality then teaches you, takes it a step further. Because yes, you can have faith. That's a good thing. But now spirituality takes you to experience. And that is like that next level thing. This is why, and I love how he said that. So I had wrote down for you guys to consider this. You have learned through your tribe, whether through your tribe or through your belief system, you know, like for example, Christianity tends to try to make, is trying or attempting to make it all inclusive. I have my thoughts on that as well, but we're going to be nice today. I have my thoughts on that. But yeah, so whether you have learned through your tribes, if you're somebody who says, well, I've never gone to church and I didn't grow up with religion. I didn't either. So for us, you may have learned it through, like I said, through your tribe. Like, you know, you may have been taught right from wrong. Don't do this, don't do that. Well, you know, it says in the Bible this and the other thing. Or somebody will say, you know better than that. You shouldn't do this. And you got to learn right from wrong. So whether your tribe, the people you grew up around taught you right from wrong, or how faith works, or through, like I said, through organized religion where you showed up and this is the rules and this is this and you're going to do this on this day and follow this and go here and do that and that, okay? Like you've experienced faith. Spirituality then wants you to now take it to that next level. Spirituality in essence, like he said, is experience, and that is next level. That is the most amazing thing. And what I love about it is, like I said, religion has definitions. Religion has terms and conditions and definitions and rules. But spirituality is solely based on experience. You've learned the rules. You understand what faith is. And now, like he said, spirituality then invites you to experience the Most High, experience, you know, the other side, experience the connection, you know, and that is just so amazing. It's unbelievable because now, okay, we understand what faith is. Let's now let that go. Let that go. Or you now, or you've understand the concept of what it is to have faith that something can happen. But now, do you want to experience all that you've learned, you know? And I love that. I'm like, yes, you know. And I wrote down, you know, experience is where spirituality begins, because experience has no definitions. Religion has definitions. And that's what you need to let go of. If you are going to start your spiritual path, you should let go of that concept of having definitions and rules. And I love because you can't define experience. You know, you can only experience it. You can only, and that's the beautiful thing about spirituality. I used to always try to explain to people what the difference is, and I was like, you know what, they're right. You can't define spirituality. You can only experience spirituality. Okay, I know what faith is, and now let's let that go. And now I want to become a spiritual human being. I want to experience essentially the Most High, the universe, my guides, my angels. I want to experience everything on this next level. And that's what it is, literally. It's that next level of understanding. It's like, yeah, you can say you believe in the Most High. You can say you believe in your guides. You can say you believe in the angels. You can say that all day long. But do you really? Okay? This is when experience takes place in your life. Now I want to experience it. I don't want to just know that He is. I want to experience Him in my life. I want to experience the other side, those who sent me here. I now want to experience everything on that level, that next level understanding. And it's amazing. So, and I have a question. First, do I want to give you guys that? Yeah. There's a snippet here that he put you to. Because like I said, faith can only bring you to the threshold of experience. Okay, and then it says faith serves its only and most important purpose to bring you to the gate of experience. And then beyond that gate is the God of the greater community, that bigger picture, bigger situation, And I think this is where we as a world are having our problem. Okay, everybody has faith in something, or at least they claim to have faith in something. But do you really? Like, do you want to just? You could just say, oh yeah, I believe. I believe because why? Because this book told me to believe it. Okay, do you want to just believe in God because this book told you or that book told you? Or do you want to know that God is because you are experiencing Him? You are experiencing the world. You are experiencing. They are placing situations in your life for you to experience. And it's that experience that teaches you, that gives you that growth, and it's that knowledge. And they were talking about, in the book that, the Most High ultimately is knowledge. The Most High is experience. You can experience Him, and I love that whole thought of that concept of that. It's like, and I think that's one of the problems, because in this world, we're only taught to believe, just have faith. Okay, I don't want to just have faith. I want to know. I want to experience Him. And I think this is something that we need to become more. I think it will help this world and on such a grander scale if we let go of the concept of just having faith, because having faith, it's a blessing and a curse at the same time, in my opinion. And I'll tell you why. There's this thing. Do I want to give you this right here or give you the other thing first? Because there's something else that I wanted to read to you guys. There's a snippet, and like I said, those who are spiritual, you won't take offense to these words, okay? And if you're if you're religious and you don't believe in spirituality, now's the time to walk away. Feel free to leave at this moment, because this thought, this concept is for people who are like really want to entertain, like really entertain a concept, a thought, like let me hear it. What? And there's this, and I love this little snippet right here. It says, what is the basis for ethics and morality in a God of the greater community? For this, you must venture beyond a childhood religion and a child's needs. You must venture beyond the need only for rules and regulations, which is what religion is. It's just rules and regulations. And like you said, you got to let that go, to experience, to be on that level of spirituality. You have to let go. Okay, you must venture beyond the need for only rules and regulations and fantastic stories that are barely believable. And that's where I think people are like, what do you mean fantastic stories? Those things happen, and this is and people might struggle with that because all their life they grew up believing this. And the concept of actually maybe accepting or entertaining or saying to yourself, you know what, those really are some pretty fantastic stories. The stories in all religions, there's these amazing, fantastic, barely, like they said, barely believable. Okay, you must enter into the experience and the mystery of life, which is the doorway to God. Okay, which is at the very heart of your life and contains the very purpose for your coming here that is unique to you, but which you share with all life. And I wanted to ask you guys, how many of you guys are like me? Like, here's my question. And this is why I feel like he said that these are fantastic stories. Let me say this first. Do I believe that there is a higher entity, energy? Of course I do. I've experienced it. I have experienced my spirit team and my angels and all those who are on the other side of the veil. I have experienced, which is the most beautiful thing in the world. It's not just to believe. You've experienced them. This is why I don't question them, because I have experienced their hand in my life. I have experienced them guide me here, go there, do this, do that. You know what I mean? Without it being audible, but yet and still the energy of it. Because when you learn, faith is a beautiful thing, but when you decide, you know what, I don't want to just go by faith. I want to experience. I want to allow myself. I want to give myself over to the other side. And if what they say is true, that each and every one of us came here to experience something, then let me be that. Let me have that. Let me do that. I want to experience it, and I have. Okay. Now, here's my question. How many of you guys are like me and you think, if these stories are true, like he said, the fantastic stories in these religious texts are true, why is this all-encompassing energy not doing those things today? If it could do it back then, why are these things not happening today? We see the wrongness in a lot of things in this world right now. We see, and you ask yourself, how can a God allow some of these things to be and not step in? How can he allow wars and not show up and say, you're not to do this anymore? If the Most High could step in, let's use that whole thing with the 10 Commandments. And all of those fantastic things, like the parting of the sea and the fire and the pillars and the plagues and the whole nine. Why is this same energy not doing that today? You know what I mean? Do you see what I mean? So I understand him saying that these are some pretty fantastic stories. It's great. It's a great read. And I have literally, and I feel like I've done myself and you guys a disservice but I felt in order to get you guys to understand the concept of what I'm saying, I now have to go back and visit the moments in the text to kind of get you guys to grasp something that I was trying to say, or an understanding of something. But honestly, like, those of you who are spiritual, have any of you said to yourself, if everything that they say in these texts are true, if these things happen, why is this same amazing individual, this same energy not doing the same things today? Because he certainly could, if he could, it could. And so I get this concept when he says that, you can, there's all of that, and you can believe and have faith and okay, and that's fine. However, if this energy is that, if he was that then, why would he not show up today and do the same things? This is why I understand that concept. I understand that thought of well, those are pretty fantastic stories, but do you want to just have faith that, yep, that stuff happened back then? And it's unfortunate. I feel it does us a disservice, because there are people to this day who are now, because of what they read, those fantastic stories, they are literally sitting around saying, I'm just going to wait. He's going to show up any minute. He's going to do something fantastic and amazing. And we're drowning. As a world, we are drowning as a society because we're so used, because you were taught that, to just have faith. Meanwhile, the powers that be are moving and grooving and doing all this insane shit behind our backs. And we're just sitting here, any minute now, there's going to be this, the great benevolent one is going to come in and it's going to do something and this, that, and the other thing. And I just feel like, why? I don't. Are you guys like me, or are you just like, I don't know, if all that is necessarily true? And you can lean into that, but I feel like it does us a disservice versus the concept of experiencing. I'm here to experience. Do I have faith? Yes, I have faith that there is something, okay? But now let me take it to the next level. Let me prove it. I'm going to now walk out and I'm going to experience life and experience. I came here, I was sent here. You guys were all sent here with gifts. You were sent here from wherever you guys came from, wherever it is out there that you came from. You came here to share your amazing gifts with the world for the betterment of the world. But when you've got people sitting on their gifts and sitting on whatever and saying, well, I'm just going to wait and let that one, make something happen. Like, it's crazy. It's just crazy. Hang on just a second, you guys. Hold on. Okay, sorry, just checking how I'm doing on time. And I wanted to say this as well. That is just that, I just wanted to share that, like how much longer are we as a society just going to sit on our hands and just wait for some fantastic miracle to take place when the whole time the miracle is you? We, the people, we came here to make a difference, to do things, and I know it's hard. It's hard to want to make a move, because you feel like, well, what could I do? What could I do? I don't know. But like I said, because everybody's experience here is so different, it's like I can't sit up here and say you should do this and this and this, because the ultimate energy, that entity, those people that, on the other side that said you're to come in at this time and you're going to do this, 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 and this. True enough, not all of us are here to do super fantastic Moses type things. We didn't come here with this super, super, super grand purpose. Some of us have come here to experience, maybe get to bear witness to someone else's greatness. We are waiting for that one. We're all waiting for that one who will stand up and say, I'm here and I want to help, and this is how I can help, and this is what we can do, and this is, it's whatever. I just, like I said, I just wonder if anybody else is like me. Like, do you not say, okay, those were great stories, but I believe that you guys are the difference maker. And any time, and I believe this with every fiber of my being, we could change this at any time, but we don't. We don't. It's crazy. It blows my mind that we could all get together as a people. We now see each other. And what's crazy is right now with this whole Big Brother situation that's taking place in our world, these entities, there are entities that are sitting around in a room somewhere, powerful entities that are literally sitting around in a room somewhere, and they are making moves just to see how we will act. When you're that rich, when you're that powerful, that you can sit around in a room with someone else and say, you know what, I think, and I believe this, there are powerful people who are all sitting around and they're talking, and they, this is what I think we should do with the world. This is how I think it should go. And I think this is how we can make everything better. And they're all arguing their point. And then after they argue, they say, okay, we're going to try your suggestion. We'll see how it goes. And then they just make moves behind the scenes and use us like chips, like I don't know. I saw a movie, a TV show actually. There's an episode of Columbo, and there's these guys, and they're all sitting around, these geniuses, these geniuses, and they're all sitting in this room, and there's these top military people, and they're playing a simulation war game to see if we do this, then they, then they're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and they're going to do that. And then at the end of the simulation, there's a man, the professor comes in and says, okay, we're going to end it here. But as it stands right now, if what you guys did, all the moves that you guys made, the Northern Hemisphere, or the United States, I guess was what they were essentially saying, would have lost. And they kind of looked at each other, and I feel like that's what there are people doing. There are very powerful people who are sitting around, and they're just doing simulations. Let's just see what happens if we make everybody do this. And right now, there are people who are sitting around. It was like I'll give an example of back in the day with Reaganomics. I feel there was these powers were sitting around in a room, and this one person said, well, why don't we, try this, and that concept of Reaganomics. And in that concept, the rich would have so much blessings and success that everything they do would just automatically trickle down. That trickle down theory, if anybody's ever heard of that, the trickle down theory, where those who are rich, we're so powerful, and we're so amazing, and we're this and that, and us doing what we do up here is going to have a trickle down effect, and it will bless others as a result. You see what I'm saying? Like weird concepts. There are people who are sitting around in rooms, with arguing these concepts. And then after they argue, they say, okay, let's try your theory. And then they do it. And then it's crazy that they don't take into account that these are human lives that they are affecting, And right now, these people, I feel like they sat around in a room and they talked and they said, well, what if we run the country like a corporation? And we've entertained every other thought. And I feel like there was somebody who literally argued this vehemently. I'm telling you, if we run this country like a corporation, everything will run perfectly. Everything will run smoothly. Everything will run. And this is somebody who based their concept, their thought on logistics, metrics. And I wrote this down, to the powers, I want to say to the powers that be, you cannot run a country. And this is and when I say powers that be, I mean all over the world. You cannot run a country like a corporation. Okay? You can't because you're not recognizing these are human beings. They're looking at us like metrics. They're using I had to write this down, the concept of metrics, in case anybody was like, well, what do you mean they're running this country and using us? They're looking at us like metrics. And so I said, let me write that down. The definition of metrics is the quantitative standards and measurements used to track, compare, and assess the performance, status, or success of a process, product, or organization. Okay, they use this data to guide for decision making, and that's what they're doing. They're running the country right now like it's a corporation, and they think that they can treat human beings like we're just data. We're metrics. We're data, and we're charts and graphs and bars, and you cannot run a country based off of that, based off of charts and graphs and bars and whatever they've got going on over there. You can't do that, because we are human beings. The proof is in the pudding. If you would think that they would just say, you know what, we can't go any further with this. But somebody, when they felt like, you know what, just keep going, just give it a minute, it's gonna work. But it's not working. It's not working. When I'm sitting up last night and I'm listening to how, there are people who just graduated and can't even read. They can't read. They thought someone thought, okay, give that somehow giving our children computers at an early age would advance them in some way, but it absolutely has not proven to be truth. We see that. Okay, because of these computers, we as a people, as a world, we're dumber than ever. You can't read. They got now to you just push a button on your phone and ask a question. Why learn how to read? Why learn how to write when you could just push a button and ask it? But it's terrible. It's terrible. It's destroying us as a people, and the reason why these people were allowed to graduate, we can't let our school system look like we're failing in some way. We want to keep up. We want to look just as good as the next person. So just pass them, even though we know good and damn well they're not educated in the slightest. Just pass them, send them to the next level, And what's crazy is these kids see that. They see that. What's the point of learning? They're going to pass us anyway. We can bullshit all day. I'm sure that there are people who probably skip school and sit around at home and they bullshit, or they bullshit in class. They show up for class, but they not learning shit. They in their phone. They're doing this. They're doing that. And why learn? They're going to pass us anyway. You see what I'm saying? It's killing us as a country. And you cannot run a country like a corporation. You see that in the medical industry, where they're taking the heart. In the medical industry, the heart is the most important thing. The heart is what decides. We've got to go in. I'm going to fight this. We're going to keep you alive. We're going to do everything we can to save you. But when you've got people who are, corporations who are telling doctors first thing in the morning, you're not, according to our numbers here, you're not, I guess giving enough medication out. You're not doing enough. We need you to do more. The pharmaceutical industry, it lives and breathes and exists because, it's able to, push these medications to just help you live with it. And in order for us to do that, we need these doctors to not focus on getting you well. We don't want you to be well. We want to just keep giving you all this medication to live with. It's insane. In every level of human existence in this country, they're trying to use a business model to run a country, and you cannot do that. You absolutely cannot do that. The medical industry, like I said, is the heart is the important thing. Nurses want to help people. They want to save people. They want to ease people's suffering. They want to do their part. But when you've got people yelling at them saying, we need you to do this, and you didn't do that, and this is this and that, and they're pushing you harder and harder and harder. And then that's the other thing. Sitting in a room saying, let's see how far we could push humans before they snap. There are some insane concepts that are going on in a room somewhere, and they are basing their decisions, on using their concepts and their thoughts and their decisions. They're using us. Let's see how we could push them. How can we do that? We'll do this and then do that. And listen, that whole big brother situation is going too damn far. It's going too far. We want to be able to watch them, in their cars, in their homes, in every conceivable way, at work, on the street, Hang on just a second, you guys. Got 5 minutes. But yes, it's insane. You cannot do that. You cannot run a country like a corporation. It'll never work. It will never work. Okay? And there's someone sitting around somewhere who is making very cold-hearted decisions with human beings' lives, and it's blowing my mind. And we're all sitting around and we're frustrated and we're depressed and we're tired and we're weary, and they're just, let's keep going. Let's see how far we can push them. But you can only do that for so long before people start to snap. They're not even thinking about that. They're not looking at that, and it's blowing my mind. It's blowing my mind that there are entities sitting around making these insane decisions based on our lives, and they're, based on not our lives, but their concepts. You know what I mean? Let's see. What do you guys think? Well, I think this, that, and the other thing. And then I think this is this. Well, I don't know if we do. I'm telling you, if we do this, they're going to do that. There are people sitting around who are literally having fun with human beings' lives like that. And it's blowing my mind. But like I said, to the powers that be, and I feel like they know it. They know it. I could sit up here and say all day, this is wrong. You cannot run a country, based on running a country like a corporation. You just can't do it. You can't do it. And sometimes I wonder, are they doing this on purpose? I wouldn't be surprised if they're saying, you know what, let them be stupid. Let them be dumb. And to those of you who are of high school age, who are of grade school age, you don't know how important. You are doing yourself a disservice if you don't learn how to read. Because look at what's happening. You're going to become that adult. Those of you who are in high school, you're going to become the adults one day, and you're going to be in charge of running the world. Do you want to go out into the world? You don't know how to read. You don't know how to write. You don't know how to add, subtract. You will be at the mercy of these people, the absolute mercy of these people. And you want to be able to say, no, I read this and I saw this, and this isn't, you know what I mean? This isn't right. And you're doing yourself a disservice. For those of you who think you could just bullshit your way through life and graduate, you could do it. You could do it. But at the end of the day, you are hurting you. You're hurting you. You have to learn how to read and how to write. You have to. You have to know how to add and subtract. If you don't do nothing else, these 4 things: learn how to read, write, add, subtract. Your money is at stake. You do not want to get out here and just assume that these other people are paying you properly, and the whole time they're taking a little money from you, and you're getting poorer and poorer and poorer. Let's see how much of this money we could take of theirs. And you're going, why is my check not working for me? And it's because they're taking your money behind the scenes, and you don't even know. You don't even have, because you don't have the concept of trying to figure out how to look at your check stub and see, well, they're not supposed to be taking that. I'm supposed to be getting this. I added up, I'm making this much an hour. I'm supposed to be getting this. And according to the taxes in my state, it's supposed to be, this much in taxes. And when I do this, when I add that, when I figure that up, this is how much I was supposed to have gotten paid, and I'm not getting it. Do you see how important it is for you to know how to read and write and add and subtract? Because the only person you are hurting, you think you doing all right, and yeah, I got a calculator on my phone, and I don't need to do this, and I don't need to do that, and I don't. What happens if something, I don't even know, something happens and electricity is no longer available? You can no longer use your phone because that phone will eventually die. There's something happens in the world, okay? And the electricity grids or something all go down. I don't know, but let's just say You need to know these things. When your phone dies, what are you going to do? You know? Learn how to read and write. Learn how to add and subtract for your sake. Do not let that happen. I'm telling you, we don't want to end up as a people being, hopeless and helpless and at the mercy of it. Because like they were saying, you can ask your phone something and now they can do things on their side where they can literally change, an answer to a question. It really is this, but we'll just say it's that. You know what I mean? And you would be at their mercy. Like, it's just very important. I'm gonna go ahead and go because I know I'm pressed for time. Okay. And I will say this, okay, before I go. I saw this also in the book as I was reading, and I thought that's really good. Let me tell you guys this. It says the perfection of this place will be realized. In other words, the perfection of our planet will be realized as you come to terms with your real purpose for being here. Okay? Your real purpose for being here. We just have gotten to a point where we just wake up and we just show up in the world, and do what we're told to do. You're caught up in that matrix of, we're going to teach you this, and you're going to go in on Sunday and you're going to learn that, and we're going to teach you that this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to have faith in this book here, and that's it. Instead of being able to say, you know what? No, I'm here for a reason. I'm not here to just follow rules, definitions, directions. I'm here to make a difference. I'm here to be of purpose. Like, we need to start looking at that, wrapping our heads around that. I know I gotta go. Our society places, we place value on status, on flash, and on money and power and influence as the goal for being here. Okay? Not discovering and not recognizing your true purpose for being here. So I just want to this is why I sit and I think and I'm like, oh my God, you guys, we are going under. We're going under because we're so used to just letting everything just happen. Okay, we're waiting, and others of you are just waiting for something to happen, and we need to stop waiting for something to happen. Stop waiting for this benevolent energy to come in and do something magnificent, because clearly that's not going to happen. Or I think some people cling to that, because to not cling to that would mean that all that time you grew up and you was told that this amazing thing happened and that amazing thing happened, you would now have to accept that, you know what, I was taught this, and that's probably not even true. But there is a higher being. Yes, there is. And this is just my thoughts. This is my, whatever, that there is a higher being. But I don't believe necessarily, and this is just me, you don't have to agree, I don't know if I necessarily believe that all of those things in these texts really happen. Because if they did, why is this same energy not doing it today? We need him just as much today as they did back then. But whatever. I gotta go, you guys. I gotta go to work. I enjoyed chit-chatting with you. Just wanted to throw some concepts out there. These are the things, like really ask yourself. Number one, please, don't rob yourself. If you have to, I don't care if you have to start from a kindergarten book and go somewhere and sit down, go to a park, go somewhere, or get with somebody who knows how to read and say, help me. Ask your teachers, help me. If you're in high school and maybe they don't have time because they're at a high school level, their job is to teach you high school level shit, then go to somebody. Somebody knows how to read. Put an ad in a paper somewhere. I'm needing a tutor to assist me with my reading abilities or my writing abilities or something. There's somebody out there who will help you. But don't rob yourself of something so precious as the ability to read and write. Okay, you just cannot lean into this technology today. It serves a purpose, but don't let it be the thing that controls you. You have control over technology. Technology should never have control over you. Never. I'm gonna go ahead and go. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. I guess if I have more thoughts, and I'm sure I will, I'll probably share it later. It's time to go. It's getting late. All right. You guys have a great rest of your day. I will talk to you guys. I'll talk to you next time on the next video. If you've got any thoughts or ideas on this, say so or don't. But at least I put it out there. I put something on your mind. You didn't, faith brought you to a certain point. Let spirituality take you to that next level. Let experience be the order of the day. But in order to do that, you've got to let go. Let go. Okay, I know what faith is. I want to know that he is. I want to experience him, Let me go. I'll talk to you guys later. We'll see you next time on the next video. Y'all have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.